Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. So in the last few hours we had a bit of weakness. Now what exactly that means for the price, we're going to take a look at that in this video in terms of the further development as well. And you can see that we continue to hover sideways here. So we are in a sideways range between this yellow support area, which is between 1130 and 1210, and the resistance area here between 1270 and 1290. In this area we are moving, hovering around, and we currently try to get out of the yellow box again to the upside, and have so far failed over the last few hours really to stay substantially below it. It's still a sideways range. I mean, I said in the previous video, all of this could still be a broader triangle, but we don't really know until we see a bit of further price action. But yeah, it could be. You could get something here like an A, B, C, D, E, and then break further down. But then the question is, if we break down from here, do we still hold the $1,000 level? And if we hold the $1,000 level, to be honest, it's still all okay. Even though I must say, if we break here, first of all, this low here from the 14th of November, which is at 1172 roughly, 1170. If we break that low, it will significantly increase the risk of also breaking the $1,000 level. And if we break the $1,000 level, then it would suggest that we have, that we are going to make a new low, which means lower than the low from June, and that was at around $880, and then we could see support at around 650. So ideally we hold that level here at around 1170. Okay, if we lose that level, we still have support at 1130, 1075, and $1,000. So it's not all lost. It's just that the risk will increase, right? Okay, but until that happens, we can focus here on higher. The focus on higher would suggest that, so I take the triangle out, just be aware, the triangle could exist. It's important for your own risk management. It's important to understand the different types of scenarios, because I do get the questions, could I focus a bit more on the bearish scenarios? I often answer that, the bearish scenario will become the primary scenario below $1,000. So that's pretty clear, I think. And then we could get to $650 and maybe even lower. But until then, obviously, we can look at this in terms of a bullish scenario, do the micro counting for the bulls. And in this bullish scenario, we can carefully assume, again, it's not super high confidence because we haven't really done any major movements yet, but we can assume that this here was a wave one to the upside. It's not high confidence though. I did say that as well. It's not super high confidence that the move up from the low here from the 9th of June to the upside to around 1360, that this was a wave one to the upside. And we have then in this longer sideways movement come down in a wave two, which bottomed then here at 1170. And then if we say the low was in here, we've moved up in a one and we're coming down in the wave two of the higher level wave three in red there. But in this wave 3 in red, obviously it's not going to move in one straight line, as you know. So we had here our wave 1, here our wave 2, and we would be now moving up in a wave 3. And to be honest, it shouldn't come down much lower, because if it does, it will probably break below the 1170 level, which means if we make one more low below 1170, this swing low here, one more low below, where are we here, 1185, it will probably mean that we're going to break the low here from the 14th of November as well. And if we do that, well, it wouldn't be exactly bearish. It would obviously, as I said, increase the risk that we're also going to break the $1,000 level, but it's not an imminent risk. So I said to you yesterday, if we do that, if we come down once more lower, break the 1170, 1172 level, then my first view would be that this wave 2, which I've got here as finished on the 14th of November, that this was actually not finished on the 14th of November, but that it is indeed still ongoing, right? So that it is still ongoing, That's not a problem. It just means we are resetting that wave a little bit lower. So that means that we're resetting it here. So that red wave 2 would go maybe here to 1130. Again, not a problem. All possible. And especially if we look at the wave counts here, and if we look at the weakness over the last few hours, this strong move down does not suggest that we had our 1-2 setup here and the wave 3 to the upside. No. This would actually suggest, to be honest, that unless this is some kind of a weird leading diagonal to the upside, which is always unreliable, that this wave C is actually still ongoing. And unless it holds above 1170, we may have to assume that it's going to break the yellow wave 2. So it's going to break here, the beginning of the wave 1, by the way. And then we will reset the wave 2. So if I show you the wave count, I actually don't necessarily think, if this makes one more low, then we don't have an ABC here. Then we have a WXY. So it would be a wave W here, a wave, I think here. So it would have to be, yeah, the wave 1. No, second. So yeah, wave 1 up. Okay, so it would change. It would change overall here the wave count. So I would have to take obviously this wave 1 out, the yellow one, and we would reset here the wave 2, and we take out all of this. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. I can take the triangle out now. It's happened anyway. Did work at the time, but looking at the higher level wave count, I would then rather suggest, yeah, we've had our wave 1 up here, and then we've come down in wave W. This here was the wave X, and we're now coming down in a wave Y of 2. And I have to do that based on the weakness. So I'm actually thinking the way the price action is looking like, it's looking rather corrective. Bit like a bear flag, you could call it. Small bear flag. Bit like that. Yeah. If that support level breaks here around 1200, then we're probably going to break this whole thing to the downside, and it would suggest we are making one more low. And what is interesting then is here the latest wave Y, and here we can very clearly see at the moment it's an A, B, and C, and in this C wave we are coming down in 5 waves, and I would say that this here was a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then we're looking at anything between 1170 and 1130. Okay, so if we say wave 4 is finished, maybe we can already define a little bit of a clearer target, and for that we take the length of the wave 1 and we add it to the high of the wave 4. And that takes us to 11, well, pretty much exactly 1170, or should that level break, then it's the 1.618 extension at 1138. Just need to have that on the radar, and as long as we are holding the yellow support box, we can still focus on this particular scenario. So I think this smaller white wave count has not started yet. I have to be a bit more patient, and it's currently for me looking like as if we're making one more low, and the reason is just the ongoing weakness over the last few hours, and then we can move up in a wave 3 in red. But at the moment, unless we now break above here the swing high of the wave 4, which is 1227, and I don't think that we're already starting this, but this would be early evidence that we've actually started it. Yeah, breaking above this wave 4 high would be a really good indication. Well, yeah, and that's my update about Ethereum. I hope you liked the update. We can take one more look at a possible bearish pattern, because a few people have asked. And again, if I zoom out to the 4-hour chart, you know, what would be kind of the bearish wave count? But for me, what it would simply suggest we would have to count the internals differently. So from the high at $2,020, we would say that, and that's the red wave count here as well. Now we say, okay, we had a wave A down into October, a wave B up, a wave C down, and I would say that we had here our wave 1, 2, that here to the downside we only had a wave 3. What we're currently doing, oh no, this move up, what we had was actually a wave 4. Yeah, it was not a wave 1, it was a wave 4 to the upside, and we're coming down once more in a wave 5. And yeah, it was a wave 5, and we would then head down lower, but below 1130. We are 1, 2, 3, 4. The wave 5 currently ongoing, but wave 5 will only get very likely below 1130, and especially if we drop below 1075, which is the low from the 9th of June, then it will get very likely that we're also going to break that $1,000 level. Okay, that's my update about Ethereum. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.